What is up, my fellow Fuji fans, Fuji friends, and hashtag Fuji Flakes? In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about saving data on your Fujifilm camera. Now, before we even get into the Save Data menu, the first thing that I want to talk about is the image quality menu. And the reason I want to talk about this is because your Save Data options will change depending on the way you have your camera set for image quality. And so basically, if you go into the IQ menu, which is the top menu in your camera, and you scroll down to image quality, you want to choose Fine plus Raw, or normal plus raw instead of just raw or just fine. Because this is going to affect how the save data menus work, as you're going to see in a second. So I always shoot in fine plus raw because I want the highest quality just in case, even if I'm not going to print anything. So let's first set our cameras to fine plus raw. And you're going to see in a minute why that's so important to the Save Data menu. All right, now let's get into that menu. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to scroll down to your wrench. So it's in the wrench menu. Click into there, and then you're going to scroll all the way down to that bottom menu, and it says Save Data Setup. And this is where we want to be. This is what we're talking about in today's video. Once you go into there, there's a bunch of options, but what I want to focus on is the card slot settings. This is going to tell your camera how should it save the data. When you go in there, there's three different options. Option one is sequential. Now, sequential just means the camera is going to save on one card until it's filled, and then and only then it's going to switch to the other card and save. Think about it as two buckets. Once the first bucket is filled, then the second bucket starts to get filled. The problem with this, or the thing you should know about using your camera this way, is that each card is going to have a unique set of images on it. So if in the event that one card fails, then you will lose all of those images. So this is the camera just using one card, filling it up, and then filling up the second card. There's no redundancy. Okay, simple enough, right? Now let's talk about the next option, backup, because here's where it gets a little bit confusing when you're doing raw plus fine or raw plus whatever kind of JPEG. In backup, the camera will record simultaneously every image on both cards. So if you were shooting just in RAW, for example, you're going to get every RAW image copied automatically to the second card. So you have a backup. But here's the cool thing about this. If you're shooting in RAW plus JPEG, the camera is already going to take two images automatically. It's going to take a RAW and a JPEG of every single image you take. When you set the camera to backup, card 1 will record the RAW plus the JPEG of each image, and card 2 will also record the RAW plus the JPEG of each image. So this is a true backup. You're going to get double of everything. So you're getting the two copies, RAW plus JPEG, on both cards. All right, so now let's talk about option number 3, separate. So separate is only going to work if you have the camera set to RAW plus JPEG. And the reason why is because the camera in this setting is going to automatically record the RAW file to card 1 and then the JPEG file to card 2. So the important distinction here that you should know is that separate is not a backup. What it's doing is it's giving you all of your RAW files on one card and all of your JPEG files on another card. The problem here, or the thing you should be aware of if you use this setting, is that, say, card 1 fails, you're going to lose all of your RAW files and you'll only be left with all of your JPEG files. All right. Well, that's basically it. I hope that this clears up how the Save Data menu works in your Fujifilm camera. I know that when I first got my Fujifilm camera, I was a little confused by it, and it took me a minute to figure out how the settings worked. And if you understand that you need to have RAW plus JPEG enabled for certain modes to work, then it makes it a lot more clear. Now, which mode should you use? That's our final question, right? Well, if I'm shooting any professional gig, I'm saving everything in RAW. I don't care about JPEGs because I'm not going to use JPEGs. I'm going to use and edit RAW files. So I will set the camera to backup and I'll save RAW files on both cards. If I'm shooting family and stuff like that, or stuff that's important to me but that I'm not being paid for, generally I'm going to do RAW on card 1 and JPEG on card 2. This way, if I want the RAW file, they're already all on card 1, but chances are I'm going to do everything from the JPEG file because it's not something I need to extensively edit. It's not something that is being sold to a client, for instance, but it's still important to me. I will have the JPEGs and usually work from those. But in the rare case where I'm like, well, I really love this image, I want to edit it a little bit more. I want a little bit more of the range that I'll have in the RAW file. I have the RAW files. And there's really never a time where I'm going to shoot in sequential. And there's really never a time I'm only going to take JPEGs because I just don't think it's a risk I want to take. My photos are important to me. I'm sure they're important to you. So I always like to have a redundancy. And the cards hold so much data at this point and are so inexpensive to buy. I just feel like it's worth it to do that. All right, everyone. Well, this was a quick video. I've been asked this question a number of times, so I felt like it would be helpful to you. And I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments below. I tell you all the time that I learned so much from the comments section because we Fuji users are really smart and we love our gear and we know a lot about it. So if you have tips or tricks you want to share with me, go ahead and do that in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and join me in my new Facebook group if you're a portrait photographer and you want to up your skills. I have a group now where I'm mentoring and we're talking about photography. It's a lot of fun. Join me there. Check out my links below. If you're looking for a Fuji camera and you found my videos to be helpful, I greatly appreciate it if you use my B&H or Amazon links for your purchase. Check out my other sponsors below. There's a lot of great companies that I've collaborated with so far, and you can learn all about them in the description. So here's wishing you an awesome day, my friends. Go out and take some cool pictures today, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.